everyone. Welcome back to another live episode of Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. And we are coming at you from the Smokin' Studios here at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. And I will get better at that. I know I've got so much going on. I actually had to just leave my Tuesday night show, unfortunately, just because the bacon side of life is taking off very good. And but I just don't have the time to do it. So I apologize. I swear to God, we'll get better at that. Thank you everyone for joining in the show tonight. We've got just a fun hangout show tonight. And there's no real agenda. We've got three great guests, three beasts in the cigar industry. And very, very excited to have them on. But let's work through some show maintenance here. Big shout out to all the sponsors that remotely make this show humanly possible. We have BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars. We've got Kristoff Cigars. Whoop. We've got K by Karen Berger, soon to be Karen Berger Cigars. We've got Sagrado Cigars, New Air Humidors. We've got Micallef Cigars, Big Sky Cigars, Cornell and Diehl, as well as tonight, I will be drinking the Axe and the Oak Incline Rye Whiskey. We'll get into what we're smoking here in a quick second. Really fast, if y'all are remotely looking for some absolutely fantastic bacon, jump on over to RockyMountainGourmetBacon.com. Order yourself a 10-pound bag of our bacon shipped to your door for only $150. We are currently taking spots for a few more spots left in July, but we are booking out and booking out fast. Also, if you're in the Colorado area or would like to come to the Colorado area this summer, there's not a better time to come than on July 21st. July 21st is our charity event. My partner Tony and I created this charity, Rocky Mountain Cigar Night Charity Fund, strictly as a way for the cigar community to be able to give back without really asking for anything. This year, we are having the Benefit for Shadow Warriors project, which is run by Mark Osgeis, which is, if anybody is familiar with Benghazi or the movie 13 Hours, he was depicted in that. He was one of the Shadow Warriors at Benghazi during that compound raid and still has quite a bit of shrapnel in his body from it. Check my show back a couple 4 shows back, and he was on the show, so definitely check out that. Kevin Shahan was on that one as well. Shadow Warriors Project does a lot for PTSD and soldiers that need help with their medical expenses, and it's going to be on July 21st, but from 6 to 10 this year instead of 7 to 10, so we get an extra hour. Tickets are only $150. You're going to get complimentary cigars, appetizers, and finger foods will be there. Open bar, headed up by Axe and the Oak. There will also be beer, wine there as well. Like I said, complimentary cigars. We've got a commemorative challenge coin, which I have not gotten the new challenge coin in yet, but here is last year's challenge coin. That's the front of it. That's the back of it. And one of the really fun things about the coin itself is it acts as a Glencairn lid topper. So all this comes with the ticket, bunch of other stuff as well. So if you're going to be in the Colorado area, there are only a few tickets left. Scan the QR code on your screen right now and would love to see you there. So without any further ado, nobody really watches this show for me anyways. Everybody just watches the show for the guests because most of the time they're better looking, more experienced, smarter, and funnier than me. So we happen to have 3 of those style of guests tonight, and let's go ahead and bring them in. But I'm going to bring them in a special order. I'm going to start with the guy that's been with me since the very beginning, and we've not been able to actually match up a show with each other, but we used to communicate a ton more until I'm sure life got busy on both of our sides. Really, really, really happy to welcome Des Hammond.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing? One of the
Very
first
well.
people to ever watch my show and comment 3 years ago, and gave me a lot of great advice that I took and ran with. Des, it is such an honor and a privilege to have you on the show finally. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. And I just want to say, to see where you've come from and where you're at now, it's just great to see that you're still doing it. You've still got the same passion and drive. And I remember those conversations very well. And yeah, it's just fantastic to see, you know, the growth of your channels and where we both are now. Still the passion.
Well, you're way out of the stratosphere for me.
Wow.
You pretty much run the cigar shows in England and Europe most of the time. So I only try to keep up with you and learn from you, and as always giving great advice. And again, such an honor and a privilege. I know it's super late, and thank you so much for jumping on. Next, we have Si Sweeney, the champion weightlifter. Right? Am I correct in saying that? Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Don't you have when I looked you up a little bit, you were a championship weightlifter, correct?
Yeah, I loved all that stuff in a past life. It's easier not to lift a cigar.
Oh, dude, I really only ever lift a bag of chips and the occasional drink. So
no, I still do a bit of maintenance training. That's all, a few days a week. But,
okay.
The first time I ever heard your name actually was from Mr. Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all good, I admit. All good,
of course.
Well, I remember that first time that
Pay me later.
Well, I remember the first time I posted in your Facebook page, and you actually let me do it. You reached out and were like, "Hey, great, Des vouched for you. He says you're the real deal. You're not just in it for just shits and giggles, but you take it serious. You could post it here all you want." And that's how you and I first got introduced. And
Des told me to do that. I went, "Who the fuck's this guy?" And they goes, "Okay, I know him. I know him. He's got a beard just like me."
Yeah, the beards were,
and he likes cigars.
Together.
Well, I wish I had one as nice as Des, but it's getting good.
Colours in it though.
Actually, today,
great.
funny enough, somebody was complimenting Des's beard. In conversation today,
beard.
Yeah.
It's a good looking beard. And
they were jealous. They were jealous as well. So,
well, hey, I can only grow it on my face. So, my hair.
I can grow it on my head. That's about it.
Well, my hair just wanted to break up with me, so I decided to leave it first. I was taking the house with that one. Last we have to introduce here Lefty Karropoulos, the man, the myth, and the legend. Also the guy that helped me get this show lined up to actually happen. How you doing, Lefty?
I'm doing great. Now that I'm seeing all three of you, I'm doing even better. I've got all my buddies right here on the screen.
Good to see you.
So, thank you all very much. Des and Si, you're up super late. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for spending the night with us. And Lefty, as always, thanks for joining in the show as well. And thanks for giving the opportunity to bring these other two gentlemen, not so much you, Lefty, but the other two gentlemen to the show. Lefty just got in because he said he promised to bring you two.
I was looking over.
You know, when you and I were talking, Ryan, and we said we want to have a fun show and just no agenda, no interview, just sit there and have fun and talk cigars. I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I say Des and Si. It spells trouble. So how about we all have something together? Couldn't get any better than that.
I was looking over my shoulder, guys. Please forgive me. I was just looking for the two gentlemen Ryan was talking about.
Yeah. I'm confused. I think they mean Reggie. Yeah, look.
Oh, there's my brother Reggie.
Yeah.
So, well, everybody, let's just kind of start, just in case anybody doesn't know everybody here. And let's start with Lefty, since I brought you in last. Lefty, introduce yourself. Introduce how you got into what is your ties to the cigar world, and also, while we're at it, what is that background that you have?
The background that we have is actually the banner of our organization, the Sisters of the Leaf Global Movement, which is an organization that, in a nutshell, it tries to introduce more women into the cigar lifestyle and create a much better world. How did this start? It's been in the works since June of 2021. Obviously, a few people probably know my partner, Dr. Anastasia Psomiadi. We got together and we decided to bring that movement and this initiative that she has started in Europe to bring it here in the United States. And we started working it behind closed doors, like I said, in 2021. Fast forward 2 years later, we have made a lot of progress, and we have a lot of agreements with different cigar companies. We work with a lot of people. We have thousands of members that follow us every single day. And that's pretty much it. I can tell you right now that I'm not the man, the myth, the legend. Because you said that earlier, there are plenty of legends in the cigar industry. I can assure you that I'm not one of them.
He meant leg end. He's leg end.
I'm probably as simple as anybody can ever get, and I enjoy talking with everybody and just having fun and smoking cigars and exchanging information. And I love to learn every single day from people like you, Ryan, and Des, and Sai. And I love you all, guys, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. And it's an honor being with all three of you on the same screen.
Absolutely. I'm just sharing the show out to a few more people. Facebook puts me in jail if I share it too fast. And then they cut off my sharing privileges because I get slapped in the hand. So I'm just sharing it slowly. But let's go to Si. Si, give us a quick little introduction on yourself and how you got into the cigar world, because you are a CRW ambassador. So give a little background.
Bloody hell, let me think. like Lefty, I'm a legend. No, I'm only joking. Lefty knows my sense of humor, and Des knows my sense of humor by now, don't you, Des?
Absolutely, yeah. Sure.
But no, I'll tell you how I got into it. Simple. I got into cigars years ago, but at the start of COVID, there was a guy called Karl Mudesbaugh, and he started a thing called. He actually started really the first, Zoom for people getting together during COVID when things were quiet, and I used to go on that at 3 o'clock in the morning, our time, because of COVID. And I remember my missus used to say to me, "God, you're smoking a lot more cigars because of that show." And I said, "Yeah, but it's because of COVID." And then she said, "Yeah, but you're still working." She says, "Most of the world isn't, but you're still working. There's no excuse, So listening to Karl and all that, and used to have chats with him, and it was good because at the time there was a few little tough things happening that I won't go into, and I just thought to myself. And then of course with the judging for NABA and everything had stopped because as I get older, I judge the competitions like the NABA contests, oldest bodybuilding federation in the world, and they'd stopped. Everything was postponed, and it cheesed me off because the world championships were supposed to be in Mexico, so I was looking forward to going to Mexico, and that was stopped. So I was looking forward to getting some cigars over there as well. Casa Torrent, because they'd be the only genuine ones there. But so then I started a little group, a little page called Cigar International Si Sweeney. Then I had to change it to Cigar World Si Sweeney. There was a thing for that. Then I started Cigar Reviews International. Then I was doing Cigar Lovers, which we've over nearly 50,000 members with Jim Frick. So I was all into this. But what happened then was there was a thing called Cigar Lounge UK, and I started doing a bit of hosting on that with a guy called Peter and Andy, so I'd pop in and do the odd interview. And then when that kind of fell apart, Carl Moodespa gave me a Zoom, and well, I had to pay for it, but he'd passed away, but he wanted me to have it. So the Cigar Fanatics admin gave me this Zoom, so we started a website, and my friend Andy, who was after having a bit of a dispute at the time with somebody else that I won't mention, I reached out to Andy, said, Andy, look, I'm going to start something anyway. So, but luckily enough, I started that, and I got Andy in as a partner to do shows, and to do the Zoom, keep it open for people, blah, blah, blah. Anybody wanted to talk and join. And then basically every Tuesday night, reached out to somebody in the cigar world, well, not on the Tuesday night, but the guest night, and everybody and anybody so far, from Fuente to Nick and Janine to Lefty to Des to Will Coop, Brightman, anybody you can think of that I've reached out with over the last few years every Tuesday has never, Davidoff, Edward Sahakian, has never refused being guest on the show. And then I was asked by the Cigar Rights of the World to be Cigar Rights Ambassador for Ireland, which I accepted. Light 'em Up World Ambassador for Reinhard Porak. And of course, Lefty and Anastasia, for some unknown reason, asked me to be with Des, collaboration committee members for the Sisters of the Leaf Global movement, which was fantastic, you know.
Well, there are plenty of reasons for that, Si.
Yeah, so and of course myself and Des, we also we started a few weeks ago, but there's been a few rickety weeks lately with stuff happening, but we do live reviews as well on a Sunday, which went down very well last year. So we started a couple again this year. Now the weather over here is atrocious, so it's nicer doing them in the summer. So I've known Des long, and I've known Lefty a long time. So that's basically it, really.
Well, that's basically it. That's a lot of it, though, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's like I just stumbled upon a lottery ticket. That's how I got rich. That's basically it. Like, basically it. You got in with all the big guys, all the legacy people inside the cigar world, and because of that, you've branched out. Now you're an ambassador for Cigar Rights of the World. Like, so that's awesome, and you're also a really, really big cigar guy.
It's not. I'm just me, man. I'm just me, Ryan. That's it.
Well, Des, let's go ahead and we'll go over to you. How'd you get started with Cigar Cabinet?
I'll be honest with you. Why couldn't you have started with me first? I mean, I've got probably the most least interesting story out of the lot of them, and I have to follow Si with all the rights of the world and this and that, and I'm like, just me. But no, I will try and follow. But mine started in 2013 when I picked up my first cigar, and obviously I was going through some hard times at the time, and I felt I wanted to do something. Football was kind of finishing, and so I just decided. My dad smoked cigars, so I thought, well, why not give it a try? So that's where it really started, and then I hooked up with a friend called Prip Pal. He was a movie director. He's won a few awards over here in the UK, and he said to me, he goes, Des, you've got a good way about you. I can do all the editing, the directing and everything. Let's look at doing something. And we came up with the Cigar Cabin, and I wanted to do something on YouTube. I wanted to try and build the profile of like cigar smoke in the UK, and that's where it really came from. And I got to meet people, a lot of really great people. Like when we first started speaking, Ryan, it was, I remember the very first one. You were in like a cubbyhole with like a broom behind you, and you had the camera all at wrong angles, and we was like having lots of chats, weren't we, about like developing your channel, my channel. We were throwing a lot of things to and from, and I think then I got speaking to like Lefty. We connected straight away. I believe even if you don't see some of these people that are friends and brothers for a long period of time. It doesn't matter because the next time you see them, it just connects straight away. And then, you know, I just started to grow my channel. We had a few blips with obviously YouTube putting some real like banners on tobacco and doing the reviews, and it became very difficult. But then, you know, I met Si, and again we connected, and you know, we're always on the phone and we're always there for each other. And the channel's just, I'm still doing the reviews. I still love doing it. I do it because I have a passion for it and nothing more. You know as well as I do, there's no monetary value in it. There's nothing to gain from it, but just enjoying the cigar and becoming, you know, a member of the committee with the SOTR was a big thing for me, because, you know, you don't get asked these things very often. And when you get them, you take them, you grasp them, and you just, you know, roll with it. And I love being a part of it because it is a great movement. And I think it's one that's just growing and growing. And I see it growing and growing, and I love being a part of it. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm just a lad from England that enjoys cigars and wants everyone else to see how I enjoy it. So I do the YouTube and other bits.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. Now we're going to do our quick little segment sponsored by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And it's, what are you smoking tonight? I will go first. Tonight, I am smoking the Vengeance Lancero, which is a Germany release only for the Vengeance Lancero. Si, what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking a cigar. Can you see it? Oh, there's a big banner in the way. I can't see it there.
There you go.
I am smoking my own cigar, Si Sweeney, the Irishman, if you can see it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Des, what do you... Oh, sorry.
Mix
Go
of
ahead,
Dominican Republic, Dominican and Nicaraguan tobacco, and it's the Robusto size. There you go. Si Sweeney, the Irishman. I'm not plugging it or anything, but Si Sweeney, the Irishman. Si Sweeney, the Irishman.
What are you smoking, Des?
So because I'm only on for a short period, so I have got to be up early. I've actually done a review tonight on this cigar here. So this is the Cigar Clowns. It was called the TK421. So it's a Star Wars related band, the TK421, which I've done a review on. But actually, this cigar here is a very small Cohiba.
Very nice.
So
awesome.
I'm only, that's it. So that's what I'm smoking.
Awesome. What are you smoking, Lefty?
I am smoking a 708. Wait a minute. Where's the camera?
Right there.
708 Habano.
Eric.
I don't know if you can see it. Wait.
Yep.
So I know the owner. He's based here in Illinois, Dominican Tobacco. What's unique about his cigars, the whole line, every single blend, anything he makes has a sweet cap, not a sweet tip, a sweet cap. I'm not too much into sweet cigars, but these ones, just because they have only a sweet cap, after a few puffs, sweetness goes away. Very light. His Habano, his Connecticut are very light cigars. It's just perfect for this moment right now. So that's what I'm smoking, a 708.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So this segment of What Are You Smoking Tonight brought to you by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And I tell you what, everybody in the comments right now, drop a comment. Let us know what you are smoking tonight while you're watching the show as well. So,
well, I tell you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ryan, but
no, go ahead.
One of the comments here, this gentleman, Scott Sakalo, he says, Lefty, where is the hat tonight? And I hate to disappoint people, so I'm going to make his day and put it on because he asked for it. That's how we roll here.
For sure.
Just a quick one, Des, on that review you were doing there. What was that cigar called again?
So it's called the TK421 from Cigar Clowns. It's in homage to, obviously I love Star Wars, only the first three. So I weren't a fan of the ones after. And this is to do with the Stormtroopers and the Millennium Falcon. And I'm a massive Star Wars fan. So I got sent these cigars by the Cigar Clowns. And I just love it. It's just
So-
it's just a great band.
So if you smoke 5 of them, do you end up sounding like Darth Vader?
Probably. Probably.
Just wondering.
They're not too bad. They're only a 5x54, so I think.
Thank God you only started with one. Thank God you only smoked one.
Well, I tell you what, Cigar Clowns puts out some amazing
Amazing stuff.
cigars, and they sell like that. I mean,
Yes.
like you blink and they're gone. So like when you guys want to get Cigar Clown stuff, you guys got to be up to like 3 a.m. for those releases.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I've been very lucky. I've been like working with the Cigar Clowns from minute one when they brought out their Piazza, one of their very first, and Ray and Danny and Murph. They look after me. I'll be honest with you. They send me every single drop, so I'm very privileged to get that because, like you say, when they're gone, they're gone. They do a very limited drop, and yeah. So my chore is I have to do a review of their cigar. So it's a hard life.
It's a very, very hard life.
Yeah.
I actually stopped the cigar reviews. YouTube throttled me so much. I went from like 400 or 500 views in a couple of days to like 25.
Yeah,
And
I'm having the same problems here.
yeah, and Des, it's a lot longer than just smoking a cigar and hitting record. I mean, it's about an hour to an hour and a half of editing and retakes, reshoots. You're into it for about 4 or 5 hours sometimes to put a video out, and to 25 views, it's a hard thing to justify.
Yeah, I thought about like myself just doing something different because YouTube was just putting all these issues up and making it very difficult and restricting views and restricting your channel. But I love doing it. I don't care what YouTube want to do. I'm going to continue. If I get 25 views, that's 25 views that I can stick it up YouTube's backside. So that's the way I see it. 25 views is better than no views. So I'll continue doing it, and it's because I enjoy doing it. I love putting some content out, and yeah, I don't care. It's not about the money. It's not about anything. It's just that I love doing it, and that's it. Because, like you say, it does take a good segment of your day out by doing the editing and everything, and it's. But I think I love it, and I'm going to continue for as long as I can. So.
Absolutely.
I remember the good old days. You remember this when you first started? We were counting all the people, the subscribers.
Yeah.
And we're saying, when are we going to reach the 4-digit number? And then you reached it, and then it went more and more and more.
Yeah, it's still growing. I'm still doing very well as far as I'm concerned. For a British YouTuber for tobacco for cigars, I think I am the biggest in the UK.
For sure.
Obviously, no, he's Kirby Allison, but I think he's I don't know if he's British or he's American, but as in British, I think I'm at the top for subscribers and probably views. So I'll take that.
Well, let's also be very honest. Kirby Ellison is not really equivalent to your style of show. Yeah. Kirby Ellison is much more off of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous style host. And he's good. I watch his show. So Kirby, if you're watching, that's not a knock. But Kirby's definitely much more, I mean, he wears a suit for every show, and
he's very dressed up. Yeah,
he's very dapper. Dapper would be the right word, I think.
Sky has Reggie. I mean, Des has Reggie over there, so
yes,
he's my style guru.
There you go. That's his stylist right there.
Yeah. he's here every night with me. He's here every night. God love him.
Well, what's Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Si.
Shit, I just dropped something. Oh, can you swear? Oh, sugar, I swear.
Oh, dude. Fucking say whatever you want.
Okay, fuck it. I'll just say what I'd normally say. Oh, fuck it, I dropped something.
Feck it.
Fuck it. No, but I've never seen, in fairness to Des, I've never seen anybody like in the UK, as passionate as Des, and has that thing in his voice that goes, you know, just by talking, he doesn't even have to say he loves something, but just by talking, you know, like he loves it. And when we do our bit of review thing that we do for fun and for a laugh, and it lasts a few hours, and we get a great audiences, Des, don't we? For it, we get a lot of views.
We do,
and we ring each other up after it, and Des is like, it makes his day and it makes my day that we're just two brothers sitting there having a banter. We call banter a laugh, and just enjoying a good cigar. But I couldn't do it with anybody else, because Des just, he's magic from the heart. He's magic.
Thank you.
I used to tell Des all the time, especially when I first started watching his show, that he just had so much class when he spoke about the cigars that he was smoking. And this is what I enjoyed the most about his reviews. They were not biased. He just spoke his mind, whatever he thought about the cigar. Yeah. Well-spoken, soft-spoken, relaxed, and just doing his thing in his cabin. And that's what I admired the most about him. And I still say that to that day.
And I appreciate that, because it was one of the things that when I spoke to Ryan about, I could have come on and put on an accent, a posher accent. I could have wore a suit. I could have tried to be the liberal cigar smoker where you wear ties, but I wanted to kind of reach out to a new range of people. You don't have to be super rich, or you don't have to be suited and booted. You can be in your hoodie. You can have a beard. You can have a tattoo. It doesn't matter. The economics of it is worldwide, and you don't have to be in a specific brand or band to smoke a cigar. And
you don't have to.
No.
You don't have to have a posh accent like me.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I did think about it. I was trying to think of these accents that I could come up and go, well, what a beautiful cigar this is. I think it's absolutely delightful. What a fantastic range they have. I thought of all that, but I thought,
the graphite is overwhelming. The graphite note is overwhelming. Yeah.
I just went with the Brummie accent, and I'm just being me. And like Lefty said.
And what's your signature expression? You remember? We used to talk about it all the time. When you review a cigar, what is the signature expression that you use when you want to give your final comment for the
business end? The
business end of the cigar.
Yeah. The business end. That was always something that I'd always go, right, let's get onto the business end of this cigar. But I love everything about cigars, and you guys can see it, and it brings people like us lot together, where normally we wouldn't even probably know each other if we, like, in any other, like, vacation or anything. So I ramble, but I love this kind of thing as well, and seeing where you've got to now, Ryan, with everything. It's just, I almost thought you were going to give up at one point, but fair play. You found a real niche in what you're good at, and this is what you're very good at. And I love your shows.
Well, thank you very much, and I'll never forget, like you had brought up our first conversation that we ever had, because that's when I had my iPad sitting on my table looking up my nostrils. And you were like, dude, like, I could see you got a booger. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't, you got to elevate your camera. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't I think of that? And then just throughout the way, Des helping me and just giving me guidance. And one of the things I always remember very much about Des's shows when I watch them still is you hold your cigar like this after you, and then you bring it down and you kind of let the smoke come up in front of you. And no, you like I said, man, you have a great set. You have great sound. And yours was one of the very first shows that, you know, I kind of watched and learned after. So always would be much appreciative for that. So, but Si, you know, I've been wanting to ask you, because I know you're into the weightlifting and the competitions, and you could bench like 2,000 pounds, and you can leg press, I don't know, a couple of tons. And
I actually remember leg pressing one time and ripping something inside. and you could hear it across the gym. And somebody went to me, "Are you going to die?" And I went, "No, it'll be all right." And then I didn't even go to the doctor just in case I was going to die.
Oh, geez, I'd be worried about pressing something that heavy and having something come out the other side while I'm squeezing.
Or the backside.
Or the backside, yeah. So I want to ask you, Si, who have you been able to smoke cigars with? What's some of your biggest people that you've been able to kind of hang out with and smoke cigars with inside the celebrity world?
Well, really, in the fitness industry, trying to get people to smoke cigars is fairly tough. Like, I know Arlie smokes them, but I haven't had a cigar with him yet, but that's on my bucket list. But we actually would have had a cigar at the 70th anniversary of the Universe, but and I was so looking forward to that. But what happened? Some little virus came along and ruined it. You know what I mean? Because don't forget, he won the Universe 4 times, the NABA Universe 4 times. So he would have been there for the 70th, which was a big deal. But of course, it's going to take a little bit to get things back on track now again. But I know it will happen. If you believe it, because many times in life, in your head, you think, right, I'm going to do this, and people say you can't or you won't, or just if you take a T away from can't, you get can. So anytime anybody's put me to a challenge, so far so good. I've always managed it. Right, I've some fucking nasty hiccups along the way, but that's part of life, you know. And I get into my ways sometimes, and I get fucking I'm going to pack stuff in, or I'm not going to do this, and I you know, and I do. I'll admit it. Like, especially as I get older, I think, but then I think about Irish people. If you achieve anything, it's kind of when you were a kid, like you had to suck up anything. If you achieve anything, you don't talk about it. You just go, that's nothing. But I tell you, people like Des, man, we've had some deep conversations, haven't we, Des, about life and about stuff. And if it wasn't for the likes, if it wasn't for Des, to be quite honest, through COVID and through the few years we've been friends and us doing some of them reviews, live reviews and stuff, I honestly might have become a bit of a fucking hermit. You know, I get my ways. Des knows my ways, and then all of a sudden I go into myself, and then all of a sudden I'm back out again. You know, but that's because listening to and talking and probably fucking bending Des's ear. You know, wrecking his head. But you know, he knows I love him. You know, and Lefty as well. You can ring Lefty when he has a minute to have a buzz. When he has a minute, he'd cheer people up. But, you know, the cigar world does a lot of things. But, you know, I've had cigars with John Citroni. I've had cigars with other guys that people probably never heard of, but are big in the industry. But I was trying to get, when things get back on track properly, I'm going to try. You see, I still train people. I'm actually training a guy at the moment, which has been kind of busy, and 2 girls. And I'm trying to convince them that smoking cigars, as well as everything else, will relax their body, give them time to come down, give them time to take time out for themselves when they're under stress, and ease the brain, and you know, just all the positives of cigars. And some are kind of okay, we'll try, and some are like, but I'll get there. I'll do it. I know I'll do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I always succeed in what I do. You know.
Absolutely. You know, you bring up a good point. I have ADD like crazy. My wife I showed Lefty my setup here. I literally work on 4 monitors every day for work. And my wife comes in here and she goes, "How? I didn't even know where to look. Like, where the hell is your cursor?" And it's crazy because she'll be like, "How can you like literally like do 4 things in your head at one time successfully, keeping them all segmented off?" And I'm like, I have no idea. One of the things that cigars forced me to do, because I used to smoke cigarettes. One of the things that cigars taught me, not forced me, but taught me to do, was live in the moment, was sit back, take a fucking breath. You don't have to have a dozen things running through your mind. And in fact, I sit down, I smoke a cigar, I have a drink, and I literally just feel my mind do the proverbial couch sit. You know, and so for me, cigars are always going to be tied to that heavily relaxation, interspirit rejuvenation, and that mental mind control of just relaxing.
And I tell you, Ryan, yeah, it's. I'll just finish off on this point on that. It's interesting because before COVID, and during COVID with other things, I never fucking stopped. I never stopped. Did I, Des? Boom, 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 something. And at the start of this year, or probably before Christmas, I said to Des, man, Des, I'm burning, you know, I gotta just. And Des said to me, just don't be saying yes to everything. Don't be doing this. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
You know, don't take time out to do for yourself. And you know something? Like, even though he thinks I don't take his advice, I've done that this year. I've just mellowed things out. I've stepped away from a few things for the time being. I've just want to just get life on track. And the likes of Des helps me with that. And of course, the wonderful cigar.
You have to have a life balance, and I always used to say, and I don't know if Si knows this, I always called Si the Robin Williams effect, because you'd get this massive character, this like over the top, funny, charismatic guy 1 minute, and then the next day he would just disappear for days and days. Everything could be switched off, and I'd be like, I was pulling my hair out thinking. And I use it the Robin Williams effect, because he was such a big character. I see Si personality and his traits exactly the same. This character that's massive, that's just an incredible person to be around 90% of the time. But then he has 10% where he's gone. And
how many times have we talked about that, Des?
Yeah.
Des and I have spoken about this before, because there's been times that Si has disappeared from the face of this earth.
Yeah.
And I have called Des and I asked him, is Si okay? Is everything okay? What is going on? And he just, at the beginning, I remember a long time ago, he told me one day, he says, listen, Lefty, that's how Si is. He talks to you every day, and then he'll disappear for 2 weeks. And then he's gonna come back all rejuvenated and ready to go.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten to know exactly how that works.
Well, I always knew when he did disappear, because my video would get approved like 3 days after I submitted it.
So Ryan, let me tell you a story now about. I gotta tell you something about Si. We wrote an article at the Humo Latino magazine about Si, and I spoke a little bit about how I met Si. Digitally, I met him. I've never met Si face to face, Des either. And if you ask me who I have smoked cigars with, I'm going to tell you that I prefer to tell you who I want to smoke a cigar with, and I'm going to say Des and Si.
Yes.
So my father used to be into weightlifting a lot, and he always talked about the NABA contest, and he talked about weightlifters, and he used to talk about this historian, and just non-stop when I was a kid. Fast forward a few years later, my father is deceased now.
You're giving away my age now, Lefty.
But I'll tell you what. So I got a friend request from somebody on social media, and I looked at this picture and I saw Si, and I'm saying to myself, where do I know this person? I know him somewhere, and I couldn't figure it out. I was thinking maybe he's an actor, maybe he's a singer. There's got to be something about him that brings me memories in my head. And it was actually the person that my father used to talk to me about when I was younger. And now we're sitting here, all four of us, talking to each other, and Si's there. And I actually had a great conversation with him about a month ago, and we wrote an article in the magazine. So I used to learn everything about him from my father when I was younger, and now here we are.
Subconsciously.
This is the power of cigars. Cigars bring people together out of nowhere, literally.
Absolutely.
But it's a pity your dad wasn't here as well. You know what I mean? It would have been cool, you know.
But like you say, with cigars, it's like we once you get to know who these people are, it's for life, isn't it? You get a few bad apples we've experienced. I'm sure we all have. But they literally have, I believe, these people have like a shelf life of 6 months or so. They can come in, disrupt, and then they're just gone forever.
Or
whereas I just believe about being honest, just keeping that integrity, and you're going to be in it forever, and you're going to make some amazing friends, and that's why I love it.
It's amazing. It's amazing because, sorry,
go ahead, sorry.
Right?
No,
it's
please
just
say.
It's just amazing to finish. Like, it's humbling when Lefty, like when you hear that somebody's dad used to talk about you. You know, it's humbling. You know, because I'm kind of the guy. No matter what I do or what I've done, I just go. I kind of don't talk about it. You know, I just say, it's none. You know, that's it. That's it. And I just get on with it. And then for somebody's dad, God rest him, to be talking about you, like, it's a little bit humbling, isn't it? You know.
No, I think what you're trying to say is, is that the world's so big. What are the chances of your connection? You know, the world is so big. There was probably never a thought in Lefty's head that he would ever meet this guy that his dad spoke about often, that he was going to be sharing a platform with him and having a cigar in how big the world is.
My father spoke to me about this historian that won the, correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, the Heimstad Award,
Oscar Heidenstam Award.
Heidenstam Award 3 times.
The only person to ever get that award.
Exactly. So the only person that won the award 3 times. So my father spoke to me about Si, but not about cigars. He spoke to me about Si as a historian for NABA. And now we're sitting here smoking cigars together.
I know. And we're doing it thousands of miles away from each other, literally.
Well, we got Chicago, Colorado, UK, and Ireland.
Lefty is a little under 1,000 miles. It's 15 hours. I've taken that drive. I know exactly where he lives, the city. It's 15 hours from me.
Wow.
I couldn't drive to the coast, and then I'd have to swim over to the UK, which I can't even swim 10 feet, let alone all that. I sink. All right. I'm not built. I know I look like a bobber, but I'm not. I don't float like one.
You'll be all right.
So, but I want to kind of touch on this. So I would like to kind of just, what's everybody's favorite aspect of if I was to ask you privately, or if I just ran into you and I recognized you and I asked you, what the hell do you like about cigars? What would you guys say?
Des, you go first, my friend.
What I like about cigars is that time I can take out of my day and just know that I've got an hour and a half or 2 hours where I can just completely switch off. That's what I love about cigars. I know the people around it and I've got those there, but for me personally, it's that downtime. It's that taking the stress away and knowing that this leaf is going to give me my mental calming. That's what I love about cigars. It's the mental calming. We all have hectic lives, and this just puts me down for 2 hours, and that's what I love about this thing, this leaf, this cigar. That's what I'd say to you. It's that 2 hours of just me time, or engaging with someone else, smoking a cigar together.
I completely agree, and everybody, what you just saw is the passion that you get when you watch the Cigar Cabin. I mean, he is all about these little rolled up dried leaves that make this absolutely amazing experience. That's what you get when you watch Cigar Cabin. So definitely check that out.
Thank you.
Si, what are some of your favorite aspects around smoking a cigar?
So have we 3 hours on the show, or what is it?
No.
Oh, my favorite thing about a cigar, right, is the simple thing that all my life I've been a goer, boom, 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 boom. And the only time in my life that I ever took time, I mean, I can't even watch TV. That's the type of person I am. The only time I ever took time to relax, to calm myself down, to not be thinking about 1,000 things at once, to not be doing 1,000 things at once. And it's not that I have to do 1,000 things, it's just that's the way I am. And this thing, this wonderful stick, brings me down to a level where I can just shut off. And the other aspect, and so it helps me. It helps me mentally, and it actually helps me physically as well. And the other thing I like about it, which is the 2 hours long bit, is that I love the cigar itself. I love the passion. I love thinking about the people. I love that it gives people a living. I love that. I enjoy it. I love doing stuff with my great friends, with Des, you know, anything exciting coming up with Lefty. We knew about the Global Leaf thing before that ever came up because of Lefty. You know, every day I think cigars. Besides my family, obviously, my most important, well, maybe after my family. This is me, you know. This is me. I just love it, and I love doing the reviews with Des. I love doing the Cigar Lounge show on a Tuesday night. I love the people, you know, as well. It's a combination, you know. It's like the perfect storm. You can do it by yourself. You can relax. You can ease the brain. You can do it with people you love. You have people that you don't love. You know, you can. It's an overall perfect. It's perfection. This thing to me, and what comes with it, which is more important,
The community
is that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I can't anymore.
The cigar world is one of those communities that will bend over back. Now, the four of us know some dishonest people inside of the cigar world until they meet Ish, and then they just disappear. And everybody knows what I'm talking about without having to say anything. However, boy, when you get a good, honest group, love Ish. When you get a good, honest group, man, very few things can spoil. A good, honest conversation can make even a cigar that you don't necessarily enjoyable. And that's the camaraderie inside the cigar world. So, Lefty, what are some of your favorite aspects to smoking a cigar?
Oh wow, I would say it's like a marriage of two complete opposites. So the first, I would have to agree with both Des and Si. Life has been very demanding. It's very demanding for all of us. We don't necessarily live the easiest lifestyle. We got to get up and work, and I have a very extensive workload. And sometimes I come home and my head, it feels like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
So the way I calm myself down is light up a cigar, pour a drink, and sit down and relax, meditate, try to get all the problems out of my mind. I tend to believe that it's best to leave all your problems outside your door. So I walk in the house, or when I go to a lounge, a brick and mortar place, and just enjoy a cigar. But what else do I like about cigars? We talked about camaraderie and about meeting people. And I know we spoke on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and I gave you an example that you can go to a restaurant and go over somebody that's having dinner, and you're going to approach them and tell them, hey, what are you having for dinner tonight? And they're going to look at you like, what is this weirdo doing? Why is he coming over to me asking me about my food? But then you walk into a lounge and you see somebody smoking a cigar that doesn't look familiar to you. And when you go up to them and you ask them, what are you smoking? They're going to open up their arms. They're going to welcome you, and they're going to ask you to join them and start a discussion. And the conversations that I've had with people that I just met while I'm smoking a cigar have been some of the best conversations ever. I tend to believe that people get together, and I call it social health. People get together and smoke cigars, and that creates conversation. And when you converse with people, you find solution to problems, and that's what I enjoy the most. So yeah, I like to come home or go to a lounge and relax and not be bothered to have some me time. But at the same time, there's been times that I want to go out and meet people, and there is no better excuse that anybody can use than smoking a cigar. Once you're smoking a cigar out in the open, in public, people will approach you. People will ask you about it. People are going to want to talk to you. And this is what it's all about. It's all of us meeting each other, getting to know each other, creating friendships, creating relationships, conversing, just having a good time, all of us together. Regarding race doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, social status doesn't matter. Just get together, enjoy the same cigar, speak the same language, the cigar language, and have a good time.
Yeah,
Can
I agree.
Can I just quickly say,
Sure.
Eric Padron, who's doing the few comments there, another great guy when it comes to like humble, generous, like he's got kind of a humor that we have. He'll take the mickey out of us, and again, he's just one of the incredible people that we all know, we've met through social media at some point, and I think Eric's great. I do. He's looked after me a few times with some cigars as well. He's got a great humidor that he's just had built, I think. It certainly beats mine.
Who does?
Eric Padron.
I know Eric. Eric is brilliant. Yeah,
but yeah, what I've started doing as well is on the odd occasion, because I have to have my phone with me, on the odd occasion, which I found even more relaxing, is I leave my phone in the house. I've got absolutely no distractions when I'm having a cigar. I find that can work sometimes as well. That's something I've found quite therapeutic because I live on my phone. So for an hour and a half, I get my cigar and leave my phone on charge in the house. And I find that makes the whole experience, it elevates it even more for me.
Yeah.
No, and I completely agree. And it's just it's one of these things that I wouldn't know anybody here. And that's really what this community does, is it brings everybody together. And I love most about cigars is the ultimate equalizer. Everybody that I know has way more money than me, but I can smoke the same cigars that they can. And we can sit down and enjoy this. I might not be able to drink the same bourbon or scotch, but damn it, I can have the same cigar. And that to me is the ultimate equalizer. You go into a lounge, you see lawyers, doctors, garbage men, plumbers, electricians, all sitting around, all on the same playing field. Nobody's big dicking it over there. Yeah, you get the occasional people that are like, oh, look at me. Look at what I'm smoking. But more so than not, everybody, like you said, you could walk right up. Hey, what are you smoking? Smoking this. What about you? What do you like about it? And it's just one of those things that everybody can kind of coalesce around and become a community. And so that's my favorite aspects of cigars.
And do you ever find though, Ryan, I go for lots of walks with a cigar around like a local lake. The amount of times I literally get stopped by non-cigar smokers and they'll go, that brings back memories of my granddad, that smell. They've literally chased me around the lake to try and catch up.
That's your BO, Des, not the
cigar. How many non-cigar smokers have you invited over and they smoked a cigar with you, Des?
I've probably, in the whole period, probably about 10 people that I've converted to full-time cigar smokers, believe it or not, from nothing to cigar smokers and become good friends of mine now, and they come here regularly and we share a cigar on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
No, absolutely. I've had people be like, go up to their significant other. So we're going over to Ryan's tonight. We're going to smoke a cigar. I smoke like 1 or 2 a year, but we're heading over there. He's going to be smoking one. I'm going to smoke one. So it's kind of like I'm now the one where it's, yeah, you're the occasional time that I come over and smoke cigars, just because it's kind of, it's what you do when you're with friends. And it's not like you're doing it to get high, drunk, or stoned. It's just an enhancement to that experience. That's really all it is.
Now we leave marijuana for people that want to get stoned. It's legal in the United States right now anyway. So
that's true.
That's what the government wants people to do. They wanted to get stoned and be stoned out of their mind and not have an opinion about anything.
Zombies.
Yeah, yep.
Exactly. Because some of them are saying in the Bible that it says in the Bible it's okay to be gay and smoke marijuana. Because in one part, I think it's Ephesians something, it says, when man lie down with other man, they shall be stoned. So there you go. What do you think of the band, guys?
How do you get those, Si? Is that a UK only, Europe only?
No, it's in
no. They're coming. Well, I'm not supposed to be smoking it on this, but they'll be out. People over from America to me the other day. By the end of this month, they'll be.
So Si is breaching all his contract rules now.
Yeah, I am. Shit. They'll be out.
He's got the right name if he wants to breach the rules right now.
Yeah, they're coming out in lounges, B&Ms, and places near you very, very soon. All across the USA and a place in England as well. So, and trying to get them into a decent cigar emporium in Ireland. So watch this space.
Yeah, for sure.
So we get to sit down and relax and smoke an Irishman cigar.
Yeah.
Look at Si's picture while we're smoking it.
Yeah.
Is it going to make us want to fight? Or does it make you drunk when you smoke it? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just fight. I fight when I'm sober, so. But I thought actually, I didn't mind the Si Sweeney. I didn't mind my silhouette. I didn't mind the shamrock. But I actually thought, when I looking at myself, I thought, fucking hell, they're all going to think I'm anal with my own picture on the back.
How old is that picture, Si? Is that a recent picture you have up there?
It's when he was about 15, I think.
Yeah, it looks it, doesn't it?
I mean, I can't see it that clearly from here, but it looks like it's a pretty old picture, is it?
It's
not gonna lie,
aged in the last few years.
Looks a little airbrushed to me.
I'd say
that. I agree.
Hey, a little. Fucking hell, that's an understatement.
Hey, there are a lot of filters you can use nowadays.
Yeah,
yeah, you can definitely use.
I don't mind. Right, people might say, "Call me this or that," or the Mad Irishman or Psycho Si or whatever. But some people started calling me. Some people call me Tron or some fucking thing. You know, what's the name of that guy with the blonde hair? Out of Spider-Man or one of the Marvel guys. Jesus. And I'm going, no, not Thor.
I was going to say, there's no resemblance there.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't got long hair. I'm not a Bondi Beach boy. The fucking
Hulk.
No, you're the Hulk. Yes.
No, what's the name of that fucking fella? Oh God, he's got like a square head, blonde.
Magni? No, not Magni.
He's not a good guy, I don't think.
Oh, okay. You need to work that one out, so I think. Find out who that is.
I've never watched not one of these movies, so.
Yeah. I think he was in he's a Marvel, whatever, in Marvel. Big grizzly kind of fella.
If you tell me about horror movies, I probably can give you an idea, but not about Marvel.
I'll tell you what, you say anything horror movies to Teddy and he knows. He's only 6. He knows all the...
Thanos.
That's it.
You go. Cody, the gentleman. Cody Carroll is the Thanos.
Okay.
Thanos, right. That's it.
Cody coming in for the win.
Thanos.
Jesus.
Cody's a good friend.
If I hadn't found that out.
Thanks, Cody, for telling me that. Thanks, Cody.
Thanos. Si, you gotta get a glove made. To hold your cigar with all the rings on it.
With the gems in there.
The gems, yeah.
I actually, Zach actually has it. My boy has it. He has the glove. So that's who the glove belongs to, Thanos. Yeah, no wonder I couldn't remember the name, Thanos. Sounds like a bucket of paint. Does exactly what it says on the tin.
Well, he's purple. You're not purple.
No,
Isn't
I'm
he
not purple.
Thanos?
Yes, he is
Yeah, he
purple.
is, yeah.
Purple-ish.
Yeah, he is purple. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind
Purple
never,
blue.
I've never
Not
had high
like
blood.
Barney purple, but purple blue.
Yeah, purplish. And I never had high blood pressure, so I don't know where people are getting this from.
I think Si looks more like Thanos if they tell me he cannot smoke a cigar. So
Yeah,
his blood
exactly.
pressure goes up, and then he does
You're
look like
mad.
Thanos.
So I'm actually really curious. What is the culture like across the pond with cigars? And the reason why I ask that is you have idiots here in the U.S. that are trying to take these things away and tax them to oblivion and really just putting them in the same light as a cigarette. But what is it like in the UK and Ireland for cigars? Is it accepting? Is it not?
Well, I'll answer quick because I'm going to have to go in a second. So in the UK, we have to have what's known as, we can't have like we can't go into, we have to have sampling lounges. That's what they're called. It has to be a sampling lounge, and you can only smoke cigars that are in the sampling lounge. So like with your brick and mortars, you can go in, pretty much choose any cigar and just smoke it in there and just be smoking a cigar. It has to be classed as a sampling lounge here. You can smoke on the streets, but it really gets frowned upon because they still do class it the same as a cigarette. But in the UK, I believe that we're going to be okay. You can smoke anywhere outside, walking or anything, except for if you're at a workplace, you have the designated areas. But I've found it no issue whatsoever. There's not a great deal of like sampling lounges where I'm from here. You have to almost travel to London, Liverpool, Chester. Those are the places we can go, but they are nothing on what you've got. I mean, I went to JJ Fox the other week, and it was such an amazing experience just to smoke in the oldest cigar lounge or shop in the world. And it was incredible. I went and sat in Winston Churchill's chair, his actual chair, saw a big range of his cigars. But I think in the UK, we're okay. It's just, I could envy you guys in the States of how accessible it is. It really is an amazing. Like, I've got to get there at some point. But I think Ireland's pretty much the same as the UK, isn't it, Si?
Yeah, it's just more easy going, really. You have you can smoke outside bars. No, you can smoke outside restaurants. But most restaurants now and bars, see, they beat the law once they're smoking areas, which are like, you walk into a smoking area in some of the places and it's like you think you're in the flipping pub in the lounge, and all the TV screens, all the stuff in a lot of the pubs, so they cater for the smoker. They're not strict. They're not like as strict as England on laws and stuff. Ireland's fairly, it's easy going, but the only thing is, there wouldn't be like a hell of a lot of cigar lounges or anything like that. You might get the odd event you can hold in a hotel and stuff like that days, but you can smoke, but they don't cater madly for a lounge specific for cigars. And you've only got two main shops in Dublin as well. You got JJ Fox's, which is the sister shop of the one in London, and which has been in Dublin since 18 something, next to the Peterson, near the Peterson Pipe place. And you have the Decent Cigar Emporium as well, which has the Indian outside and all that, like you have in the States. But see, the thing with Ireland as well, you must remember, a lot of places in Ireland are tourist countries, so they have to build these big fancy smoking areas with lovely heating and fans and all that to attract the tourists. And especially one of our biggest lots of tourists are American tourists. And American tourists, a lot of them tend to, they're getting on the ones that come as well. They tend to like enjoy a cigar, so they have to kind of cater, especially like Clane, Dublin, fucking seaside places, especially because they're all looking for their great granny's cat fell onto a boat and landed in America, so they're always looking for something,
Well, it's a lot more easygoing in Europe. In Greece, Ryan,
yes.
the whole country of Greece has only one lounge. It's called Alexander's, and it's inside the Grand Britannia Hotel. That's the only place, but you can smoke everywhere you want outside. You can go to a restaurant, at a patio, have your dinner, and
patio.
smoke your cigar. So, I mean, they're trying to ban this right now. The smoking ban in Greece they're trying to enforce it as hard as possible. They're not really succeeding. I'll tell you that comes 8 o'clock at night, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., all these non-smoking places become smoking places, and there is nobody there. So this is how it is in Greece. But like I said, you can smoke outside pretty much everywhere, whereas here in the United States, you cannot. There used to be ways that you could beat the system. I remember years ago when I was in the hospitality industry, we used to have a restaurant. I'll give you an example in Paradise Valley, Arizona. And the restaurant had a huge patio that went around the whole restaurant. And there was the main door and then a side door for the patio. And the law was in Arizona that you cannot smoke when you're 100 feet close to the main entrance, the entrance. So what the owners did, because he was a big cigar smoker as well, he put a sign on the side door that says exit only, not an entrance. So he beat the law. Everybody could sit on that side and smoke cigars because he used it only as an exit. Of course, that doesn't work anymore, but I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago. But in Europe, UK, Ireland, Greece, they don't have to fight the FDA like it is here. They're putting cigars and vapes and cigarettes under one umbrella, and they're trying to stop us from enjoying what we like to enjoy.
As zero tolerance. They don't want any smoking whatsoever. That's what they're trying to aim for.
Britain is like that, isn't it? Well, but you can blame Ireland, because the first country in Europe to bring in a smoking ban was the Republic of Ireland, but it was only to look good to the rest of the world. But they put in it that the stipulation was any smoking area must be away from the building. So what all the landlords done was they built smoking areas 1 inch away from the building, and you're not trying on. So you just walk. There's nothing, and then over the inch they'd have this like lead, little tiny canopy things across from the inch. So it was joined to the building. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
Right, so just a quick one. Sorry, I'm going to have to go. It's 2:15 in the morning. I've got to be up in literally less than 3.75 hours. So I'm so happy to have come on. I said I was only going to come on for 20 minutes, but this is what it does to you. It keeps you, drags you in. Damn you.
I knew you'd get on. When you sent that message today, I can't make it. So he'll be on.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I knew he would make it.
I can't refuse. I just get drawn into it, and I said 20 minutes, and before you know, I need my beauty sleep, as you can tell.
Definitely.
Well, then we apologize for you need a few more hours.
Ryan, you know what the thing is? You know how many times Si has guests at Cigar Lounge International, and they're having discussions and they're having all these Zoom calls. And here in Chicago, I'll talk about myself. I want to attend and I want to be a part of this so many times. And it always falls at either 12 noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right when I'm at the office. And there is no way I can make it. So there's always that time difference that messes it up for all of us.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, totally.
I love
you
all. Ryan, you're a top man. And anything you ever need, and I'm sure it's the same way, just pick up the phone and
Well, Des,
before
you go, thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor to finally have you on. And I don't know if you know this, but the new MRE from BAMF has got my bacon grease in it. So I know you did a review on it a couple of years ago. So we're going to have to send you over the new one. And this is the MRE, but this is pre-band. The new one now has RMCS on the second band underneath here.
Leave it up to Ishmael to come up with a cigar that's going to have your bacon grease on it.
And, well, yeah. Well, you know, funny thing is I sent him a slab for his 50th just for fun. And he decided that, and I asked him, I'm like, can you just make me an MRE with my grease? He calls me, he goes, yeah, so we've got to do this. He goes, this is so much better than the original with your bacon grease in it. And so we just said, okay, yeah, let's go. So they're in stores. We'll make sure we get you over some Des to review.
Perfect. Lefty.
Des, have a
Thank
good
you.
day, buddy. Thank you for joining us.
Coming on, Des.
I look forward to getting those. See you all later.
See you, brother.
Bye, Des.
Love you, brother.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Thank God you
All
said. Thank God you said bacon grease. Because imagine phoning up somebody saying, "Do you want to do a cigar with my grease?" You'd be like, "Shit, what?"
So now that Des is off, we can be honest about it. So let's go. No, I'm just kidding. So, Si, let me figure out how to ask this. So, with all the bans going on with cigars, why do you think that the world doesn't give a shit about alcohol, especially Europe, the UK, Ireland, Scotland? They don't give a shit about alcohol, but for some reason, something you don't inhale that you have to be an adult to buy, they all of a sudden want to control that.
Oh, you see, sorry, I just drank something there. If I can repeat them, probably because it's the time in the morning here, but I think it comes down to basics. Like, really, if you look at Ireland, the UK, like, Ireland isn't, to be quite honest, Ireland isn't severe, right? On tobacco laws, as it makes out to be by being the first country in Europe to ban tobacco. You know, a hell of a lot of people smoke cigars, cigarettes, obviously, but the taxation on cigarettes is millions and millions. You know what I mean? The taxation on cigars will be less, obviously. Well, it's hefty, but there's less sold, so the government wouldn't make as much. But it basically goes down to the government and alcohol. Alcohol is one of the biggest sellers in the world. You're going to make massive taxes in Ireland. I mean, if you cigarettes in Ireland, we'll just say, right, cigars and alcohol. The retailers make bugger, not that much money on them, but the fucking government makes takes massive amount of tax off them. Mm-hmm. So they're going to talk till the cows come home, but they never ban alcohol. They never. Once there'd be a fucking riot in Ireland if they ever banned alcohol, but they'll never ban anything like that, and probably worldwide as well. Because if you look at the likes of Guinness, for example, the biggest selling alcoholic drink in Nigeria, which is a country of millions of people, is Guinness. You know what I mean? They ship it off to the Bahamas, they ship it everywhere all around the world. Our government makes massive taxation on that, and then it has a knock-on effect everywhere else. So something like this, I think it's misunderstood. You know? Yes. To be honest, I honestly think it's misunderstood, and it's up for people. Myself, I mean, if you drop if you put a tear falls in the ocean, it'll get swallowed up. You know what I mean? But if everybody's tear falls in the ocean, you could have a tsunami. The people who smoke cigars got to stay together, stick together, and shove it out there every which way as possible. You know what I mean? After, we call them TDs here. What do we call them? Senators, blah, 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 blah. Keep emailing them, keep doing the thing, keep explaining, keep doing everything. You know, it might be repetitive, but you have to plant a seed. Like, you have to plant a seed to grow this wonderful thing, but you have to plant a seed in people's head that it's not a monster or anything that is made out to be. Don't class it in the same as cigarettes. Don't class it with all the chemicals that are in cigarettes. Yep. Do it the proper way. If you keep planting seeds, somebody will take notice eventually.
Si, you said the magic word, it's about money. I tell you what, I can guarantee you most of the senators that are trying to ban cigar smoking, when the cameras are off, they're sitting in their house smoking a cigar.
Exactly. Plus another thing. It's the image of the time as well, which also comes into it. You know, we're in a world where people want to look, women want to look this, that, and the other 100 years younger, and they do Botox and Bletox and Botox or whatever it's flipping called it, lip enhancement and this enhancement and that enhancement, and we all want to be a size 10, boom, boom, boom. And it's gone a bit crazy. Men want this, they want this, they want that. Let's have a wonderful world where everybody eats vegetables and nothing else, which is bullshit because it doesn't happen. But it's a false image out there of our world, and you've got to let people do things that they enjoy, want to do. Like I will never, if somebody wants to go out there and run 100 miles a day, I couldn't give a shit. That's up to them. If somebody wants to go out there and eat 25 burgers, that's up to them.
Absolutely.
Right? If I want to smoke this cigar, that's up to me. I'd never pass comment on what somebody does. So nobody should pass comment negatively on what I do. You know,
for sure. And I'm going to go ahead. We have a special guest tonight, the biggest motherfucker that I know, that passes comments on everybody and has been primmed.
I knew he was.
He's had more plastic surgery than anybody I know. He's teetering on the age of 100 years old, and he looks like he's 30. How you doing tonight, Ish?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Hey, we were just showing. I'm smoking the first iteration of the RMCS.
Nice. How you like it?
Oh, well, it's the first one. I love it, but I like it with the band a little bit better. So I wanted to bring
grease in it.
Yes, this is the one with
bacon grease.
It's got my bacon grease and some of Ish's Spaniard grease in it too.
Oh my goodness!
So I wanted to bring Ish in just because Ish just fits so perfectly with this group, right? And and Ish has taken time away from his family to join us for a few minutes here, and he's smoking the vintage 2025 Winston tonight, by the way. So he gets them before they're released. So, but Ish, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great. How you guys doing? Everyone is okay?
Great, Ish. Great. Good to see you, brother.
You're doing great, my
Thank
brother.
you, brother. Lefty.
I promise I won't go. I promise I won't go no comprende.
A couple of years ago, Ryan, I was in Florida and I went on a cigar lounge tour. I don't remember which lounge I was at, and I posted a picture on social media. All of a sudden, I get a message from Ish. Hey, you're at this lounge. I'm only half hour away. Why don't you come over? And we stayed at his house all night smoking cigars. It was one of the best nights I've ever had.
Oh, dude, I walked into Ish's house when I stayed there for the Great Smoke. I walked in, he goes, I'm like, can I grab a cigar? He goes, yeah, grab whatever the fuck you want. He goes, there's a humidor there. So I'm grabbing one, and the night goes on. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. My buddy Jeff, me, Ish, and Messy were sitting around. And I had just finished his cigar. And Ish looks over. He threw a little pack of some test cigars that he was sampling out. And he looks over and he goes, he just jiggles the bag. And I'm like, I got to get to bed. He's like, eh. And I'm like, all right, I'll smoke one more. But for those of you that do not know, Ish lives in a humidor, which I did not know was possible. Now, I'm not even exaggerating, Si.
You're not.
He has a humidification system throughout his whole house. Every bedroom you go in has probably, not an exaggeration, of close to 2,000 cigars or more in each of the bedrooms. And then you just walk by the hallway and all of a sudden the ceiling pisses on your neck and you're like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, that's my humidification system. You look up and there's a misting system that's shooting at you. It's awesome. It's awesome.
His whole house.
His whole house is a humidor. He lives in a humidor.
Did he say to you, you can have any cigar you want, but touch my Winston and I'll break your legs?
I would never
with a baseball bat.
His Winston. I would never. Ish would give his cigar away before his Winston.
Exactly.
I can make more cigars, but I don't know how to make Winstons.
So, Si, I'm curious, do you smoke more of the Cuban lines or do you smoke more of the New World?
I suppose I mix them up, but now more New World because some of the Cubans have gone stocious, ridiculously expensive.
Mhm.
But as we speak, what's his name? Austin Power, not the guy who, on the show, but he's over in Portugal, so he goes away every couple of months. So he always brings me back Cubans because in Portugal, I think the price is controlled by the government, so they're cheaper than in say Germany or somewhere like that. But before COVID, you paid real reasonable prices for Cubans, especially out of Germany and Holland, and they've always been a bit more expensive in Ireland and England, obviously, because it's 432 per kg in taxi or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So they've always been more expensive. But Portugal, Spain, cheaper. Germany was very cheap at one time. But to be honest, guys, you can get New World cigars. Some of the ones here are fairly reasonable, but there's a few countries in Europe like Germany, Holland. You can get the New World cigars same price as you can get them in the USA. I don't like calling them New World. I just non-Cubans. Yeah, the non-Cuban cigars you can get them fairly cheap in Europe, but you just got to make sure you latch on to everybody going over.
Well, I'll tell you what, in this country, and Ish and Lefty can attest, when the government takes over something, it sure as shit doesn't get cheaper. So the fact that Portugal, their government runs the tobacco world and the Cubans are cheaper, to me, it's just like mind blowing.
Ryan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ish. I have to say this. So there are times in life that you meet people that they make a difference in your life. So when I met Ish, he really made a difference in my life. He gave me one of the best gifts that I have ever received from anybody.
20 wins.
I show it to you right now.
With this cigar?
Gave me one of the most unique BAMF cigars you can find.
This one.
This one.
Oh.
Yep.
Not the Moak, is it? No, it's not.
Not the treble.
No, look
treble.
at this. Look.
It's so big it can't even fit in the screen.
What's the Vitola? Ish, do you remember the Vitola? I don't even remember what you told me that was.
That's an 84 by 17 inches.
Jesus, why didn't you smoke that tonight, Lefty? That would have lasted the whole show.
You don't have to
More than that.
show.
More than that.
But I talking about Ish, Ryan, there, just from that's fantastic. We had on the Tuesday night guest lot, we've had everybody from Carlito to everybody, but we had Ish on as well a couple of times. But Ish had a show there that Oscar, one of his rollers, was rolling cigars. Oh man, I still think of it. What a show! What a fantastic show it was like. And like if I was rolling a fucking cigar, they'd be, oh good Jesus, it wouldn't happen. Everything would just go everywhere. But this guy was just amazing, absolutely amazing, and he done so many different Vitolas and different. Oh, it's just wow. And you'd be talking to somebody on Messenger or whatever, and we often bring up that show. We'll have to do it again, Ish, definitely.
Absolutely, when he was one, yeah.
Well, Ish, I want fantastic. Oscar on. Let's get Oscar on our show. Let's do it after PCA.
We can do that, yeah. We can do that. Well,
I will say, go ahead, Ish. Sorry.
As a matter of fact, Ryan, I don't know if I told you or no, and Lefty probably you don't know, and Sai neither. But
oh, I don't think we'll know.
I think we lost him.
Yes.
Right, he was about to reveal the big secret.
He was. There we go. There he is.
He's back.
I don't know. Yeah, I said, what happened? I was talking to myself. So I don't know if you guys know, but we are going to be, apparently, the first ones rolling live cigar at the PCA.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are going to be there.
Well, one of the first time I met Ish was, he's talking, but we can't hear you, Ish. Ish, we can't hear you. Ish.
Ishmael.
Ish, we can't hear you. All right, so he's just talking to himself. We can't hear you, buddy. Can't hear you. So one of the
What about now?
there you go.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, my wife just came and said, they're in the pool. I said, honey, you connected to this and they cannot hear you. I said, what are you talking about? I said, you can hear me and you guys. The fuck, man. So, anyways, here we go, guys. So, like I said, like when we go, we don't do just the bunch and put the wrapper on it. So we just go and do, we bring the table, we bring the press, we bring the tobacco, we bring the bunches, we bring everything with us, and we do it. So it's a little different than most people do. Most people, they just...
Most people, they just... I don't think we'll figure that one out.
I'm pretty crap at Spanish, but I'm fucking really shit at lip reading in Spanish. I cannot lip read in Spanish, no fucking way.
Ish has become one of... Oh, I can't hear you, Ish. I think you're connected to the other speaker. I think you're connected to the speaker.
The fan is talking nearly as quick as this.
So, I think you're connected to the Wi-Fi speaker that you have in the house, Ish.
I fell in the pool.
When I first met, Ish is one of my closest friends in the industry. I talk to Ish probably weekly, if not every other week for sure. And he was one of the first guys that was literally arms wide open to me, whatever you need, however I can help, anything like that. So it just goes to like what we were talking about earlier, the community that this sparks. Ish and I wouldn't know each other from Adam if it wasn't for cigars. And now Ish and I, and even Lefty and I, have become very, very good friends. To the point where Lefty even gave me his cell phone number, which, by the way, is in the description below the video. Yeah, right. He likes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. phone calls. The best.
Anytime, please call me anytime. I'm gonna be on silent.
So, but no, I would love to go to PCA as well. Si, is that ever something that you've wanted to try to figure out if you can get your way over and make it to the PCA or TPE or? So, do they do cigar events like that in the U.S. or in UK, in Scotland?
No. Where's everybody gone?
No, I think Ish is logging in from his computer, I think.
Yeah, Ish is trying to log in from the computer. I'll bring him back on when he's here, but would that be something you would like to go to as like a PCA?
I would. Like the 27th next week, there's a cigar get together with every so many months. There's a cigar get together in Ireland, just normal get together and just guys smoking cigars. So I'm invited on the 27th, but I can't go on the 27th because it's my boys' communion. But yeah, I'd love to get to the PCA or the Big Smoke, something like that as well. You know what I mean?
So why don't
you say?
Yeah, you should ask Cigar Rights of the World to pay for that for you, because I mean, let's be very honest. You. In your area of the world, you are seen as a celebrity. You are known. No, but you are. You are known. You are a weightlifter. You're very well known. You go to events. Fuck. Lefty's dad was talking about you 600 years ago when Lefty was
there you go.
But I'm shy. I'm a shy guy.
Oh, get out of here.
You're not shy. Come on.
Get out of here. You're shy. You're not shy.
You're shy. No, trust me. You walk inside PCA.
Yeah.
When they open up the show at 10 a.m., you smoke 12 cigars until 4 a.m. the next morning. And then you go back to your hotel room, sleep for 2-3 hours, and you start all over again.
Yeah.
It's going to be
all the hotels
time.
here, Si, have gyms, so you could still work out.
I laugh because when it used to be funny, judging with NABA, and I'd go to different, before COVID, and you'd go to different places and different hotels, and I'd walk in and then everybody want their picture with me and all this. I used to feel embarrassed. And then the hotels be pushing, they'd be going, what would you like, sir? And I'd go, Si, not sir, Si. Just call me fucking Si. He's just funny, like suit and boot, and just call me Si, you know. But no, I'd love to go to the PCA, but I'd love to meet some of the people there. But like on my bucket list is to meet Ish. You know what I mean? If I could meet Ish, I'd be a happy camper.
Why?
You know?
It's not that
because
impressive.
I'll tell you what, Ish over the last few years has always supported the Cigar Lounge. He's good. He'll send you a message when you're feeling like crap, or he kind of knows, I suppose. Like Ish is just, he means an awful lot to me. I don't want to be saying it live, but he means a lot to me. And I come on some mornings. I wake up here at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'll come on. He'll be on Instagram with somebody. I'll pop on, and he's always welcome, and he's always happy to see. He doesn't understand the fucking word I say. I don't understand the fucking word he says. We always have this banter about no comprende, okay? Buenos dias, you know, whatever, you know. Hey, gringo, would you like to play with my sister? But
Gringo.
you know,
Gringo.
we have a laugh, you know. We have a laugh and a buzz, and
Absolutely.
It reminds me of a
it's
Spanish
as
version
real
of
as
me.
it gets.
Yeah, we keep it real. That's the thing. We keep it real.
You know-
There's no airs and graces with us, and that's what I love about Ish. What you see, and Lefty, what you see is what you get. With Si Sweeney, what you see is what you get. Simple as that. Like
No,
it or lump it.
absolutely.
Appreciate
I
it.
always say, not everybody likes you, but not everybody's got good taste. So
You know-
that's the
You know what I like about Ish? I mean, we talked about his cigars and about BAMF and Don Olivan. He makes great blends. I think Ish has probably the most amazing.
Okay.
Oh, there you go, right behind him.
And there's the best part of Ish, I gotta say. Holy fucking shit, can that woman cook? Wow.
Yeah.
She gave us curried goat, and she goes, okay, so that's all we have, and I've got this other thing, and the rest of us are like, we just wanted the goat. Like, my God, that was amazing.
Hey Ryan, I got shrimp and I got stuffed mushrooms. It was amazing.
Oh gosh. What was that bread called again?
The roti.
Oh my God,
Roti.
was that like the most delicate bread that was not delicate, if that makes sense? It looks like cooked phyllo dough and how it pulls apart, but my God, Carrie's the better part of that whole thing.
Well, but listen,
What the hell are you doing here?
but Ryan, tell me what you think. Okay, so you have Carrie. She's an amazing sister of the leaf, and you have great blends. He makes some of the most amazing blends. But who else do you think has the imagination to come up with names for his cigars, just like Ish does?
Who do I think?
The names. I mean, I bought a box of Blood of Vlad. The cigars come in a coffin. I mean, Blood of Vlad. I can never get enough of this. I walk around sometimes when I'm smoking one of these cigars, and I'm talking to myself. I say, I'm smoking a Blood of Vlad. Something like that.
Like I said, most people don't realize, but Carrie's really the brains of the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
Ish is just like Ish is just the wannabe pretty boy face of it. Carrie's the one that knows how to roll. She's the blender. Don't let it, you know, they say a different dynamic, but in reality,
in the kitchen she's the blender. With salt, a little pepper.
I'm the blender in the kitchen.
Ish knows nothing about cigars that Carrie hasn't taught him.
No. Honestly.
You were saying Ryan there as well, just on the PCA. Can you imagine? I'd love to see it someday. Myself, Ish, Des, and Lefty at the PCA.
Oh shit!
Jesus, that would be a shitstorm. That would be cool, like, you know. That would
Absolutely.
be like, yeah, that would be cool.
Crazy.
Hey, I
would-
see a
that
comment
would be a
from
buzz.
Lupe Citelli that he says that Ish is just a pretty face.
Oh yeah.
There must be
That's it.
something wrong with me.
That's it. He's a pretty face.
Look what she said. What you just said,
I
Karen?
gotta get cigars for the kids.
Okay, so get some cigars.
There you go.
Actually, now you can find Sean.
He's a pretty face that says that motherfucker.
No, he's a badass. He's a bum.
Badass.
So I gotta ask. So who would win in a fight? No, I'm just kidding. But you know, in all seriousness, Si, we'd love to have you. I'd love to go to the PCA. I've been trying to convince Ish to take me to the PCA, but he won't do it.
That's what you guys call me. So you guys can laugh at me. My wife is laughing at me. You guys laughing at me.
We laugh with you.
Hey, Ryan, you said it earlier. Gary is the brains behind the whole operation, so you got to ask Gary to take it to PCA. I don't think he's going to do
Danny,
it.
are you taking Ryan with you?
Carrie's already said yes.
10 slabs of bacon.
Oh, see, she loves the bacon. You know
She said
what's so
for 10 slabs of bacon is what she
right?
said.
You know what's so funny? When Ish came out here for Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, he put Carrie on the phone, and Carrie's like, that the first thing she says to me was, "Hi, I'm Carrie. That's the best fucking bacon I've ever had in my life."
And she said, "I love you."
Yeah, and she's like, "Please keep sending it." So I'm a firm believer that the only reason why Ish wanted to team up with me is because Carrie wanted a piece of the bacon.
You didn't want to upset the wife, huh?
She loves the bacon.
So, well, you know, Si, I don't smoke a lot of Cuban cigars, and I don't smoke a lot of Cubans because you can't get them here unless you go down to, you know, Ish's house and he just has them in his freezer, or you get somebody that, you know, gives you one because they're freaking expensive. I had somebody give me a 2014 Cohiba Special Edition, and I looked it up online. It's like $89, $99 depending on where you get it from, a cigar. And I guess for me, from not smoking a lot of Cubans, are Cubans worth it versus quote unquote the new world non-Cuban cigars? Are they that better? Like, I guess let me ask it this way. Over the life span that you have, are you smoking more non-Cubans today than you are Cubans?
I'll give my humble opinion on that, because at the end of the day, guys, anything I say is only my humble opinion, right? I think when people can't have something, they want it more.
Yes.
To be honest.
I agree.
Right? And I love the Magnum 54 by H. Upman. But I love the Barbed Wire by BAMF Cigars. I love the Trinidad Vigia, right? But I also love a natural Padron. You can't, and sometimes with the Cubans cigars as well, a lot of them are Cuban-esque. They can be a bit one-dimensional with some brands, to be honest. And even like, say, the Cohiba Robusto, 10 years ago, I thought it was better, to be honest. A lot of ones I think were better before. There's a lot of problems now, even with the simple one like the Romeo Juliet is, you know, a long time. I had desperate problems with the draw on some of them. And I mean, you're paying an awful lot of money for Cuban cigars here. And if you get one that you're messing about trying to get the draws not right, everything like that, it's very, very disappointing. It's a pain in the ass. But I honestly think that, in my humble opinion, that the cigars out of Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica are damn good. And I think it's about time people got it out of their head just because of Cuban. Oh, I only smoke Cubans. Like, my God, I pity your life if you only smoke Cubans, because you're missing your whole sort of damn good cigars that are out there from Nicaragua, from Costa Rica, from Honduras, from Mexico. You know, there's so many good cigars out there that I think it's gone past the stage where we have to compare everything with Cubans. Because especially the last few years, I have smoked so many different cigars that are non-Cubans. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Magnum 54. I'll always love the Magnum 54. But I love the White Churchill. I'll always love the White Churchill. You know, there's certain ones. There's a lot I can take and leave out of the Cubans. But I tell you one thing, I'm so fucking happy in myself that I've had the chance to smoke more and more and more non-Cubans, because we always say it. Well, I actually said it in the first place, but every cigar to me is an adventure, and that's the way it is. It's an adventure, because you never know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? And I honestly think there's so many fantastic. I've never found the day I find my favorite cigar, I'll give up smoking cigars, because I don't think I'll ever find it. I want that quest to go on forever, because I honestly think that you can. I don't compare Cubans, probably because we can get them as well, but I don't compare Cubans with non-Cubans anymore. I just enjoy the cigar I'm smoking.
Well,
be
the
honest.
thing about it is that you're totally correct. Before it was better, but I tell you what it was better. Being born and raised in Spain and being Habanos SA until last year, 50%, 49% from Spain. So it was not Cuban. The cigars, as you well know, it was from Spain, and then Spain it went to Cuba, and Spanish start to do Cuba with it. So it was way better because the demand was not too much. And in every country in Europe, we make our own cigars, like Spain do Farias, like Switzerland do the non-switched cigars or whatever. So Cuba was a little more elevated, but a good price. What happened is for the past 5 years, China is pushing to buy the company from Spain, which finally last year they did it. So now to this day, when you see that the draw is not as good, or on a box of 20, 10 of them are worthless, I tell you why. Because first of all, it's not Cuban tobacco no more. They buy tobacco as in Dominican, they buy tobacco from Nicaragua, they buy tobacco from Mexico, because they cannot produce.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a Cuban Puro.
It's not Cuban Puro anymore for a long time. So
wow.
Even though it's advertised as Cuban.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So, but it's easy. Why? Why? Because if before they produce 1 million cigars per year, now they have to produce 10 million cigars per month. So it's no way that Cuban feels he can produce that tobacco. It's no way. Do the math. It's impossible. So from the longest of the time, Cubans, they never smoked Cuban tobacco because they cannot afford. They were Cuban sandwich. They do that, and that's how it came, the Cuban sandwich, just the leftovers, and that's why we know everything now as a Cuban sandwich. But Nicaragua and Honduras, Salvador, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, it has been sending tobacco to Cuba for the past 20, 25, 30 years for the consumption. Now they send the tobacco for everyone's consumption, because China, as soon as it says rolling Cuba, handmade in Cuba, they don't care if it's done over here in my patio. They don't care. They just want made in Cuba. And to put it even, you see my BTC. My BTC is Cuban tobacco 100%. But it's legally sold over here because it's rolled and import from the Dominican Republic. So if I say something, I send, I don't know, broadly from Pennsylvania to Cuba because it's rolling Cuba, and because now it says hand roll in Cuba, that cigar is legally Cuban, even if you are smoking non-Cuban leaf.
But it's not only the tobacco issue. I mean, you're rolling the BTC, which is an amazing cigar, and you're rolling it with Cuban tobacco. But the resources that are available to you when you're rolling the cigar are far better than in Cuba. I mean, you have a country that everybody lives in poverty.
Yes.
Okay. It's the cigar production is government control, and we know very well that when something is government control, quality is not going to be the best possible. And I mean, Cuban cigars, it's like a roller coaster. Quality goes up and down all the time. So the Cuban tobacco, because you're talking about the buy tobacco from other countries, so we all know that. But even the tobacco that is produced in Cuba, it's not the best quality. Because the ground is tired. I mean, there is such thing as saying that the ground is tired. They use the same ground that they grow the tobacco. Different seasons they grow rice, for example.
Corn. They used to do corn. Now it's tobacco. It's dying. The oil is dying.
So, Ish, let me ask you this. I think Altadis is the only company that owns, cigar company, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the only cigar company that still owns the Cuban version of Altadis, which obviously is H. Upman, Romeo and Juliette, Monte Cristo. Are there the same cigars that are Cuban that are also Altadis US, meaning like the 1844? do they have a 1844 Cuban and an eight? I mean, obviously I know not, but that's my example. Do they have the same line or name for a non-Cuban as they do a Cuban, so you can actually smoke both and compare?
No, Altadis. It has been part of East Tabacalera from Spain. And when you buy Cuban tobacco and it's Cuban, you will see a little sticker. Well, I'll show you right now. That it will say Altadis and it's blue.
Yeah, by the way, everybody, Ish's favorite Cuban is a Bolivar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bolivar, Simon Bolivar is nice.
Okay, so this will be the Cuban seal with the Cuban code and the numbers, but Altadis, it will give you this.
Okay.
This. So every time that you see this blue thing saying Tabacalera, this is Altadis, and it will be just Cuban. It will not produce nothing else that is not coming from Cuba. That's
do they have the same name from Cuban to non-Cuban? They don't. So you'll never find a version of a 1844 in the non-Cuban.
You only find that in the United States, like a Cohiba, but you have the Cohiba red done in, I don't know, Nicaragua, the Cohiba blue done in Dominica, the Cohiba black done in whatever. And
but you won't find a Cohiba red Cuban.
No,
and you cannot. And in Europe, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, Si, but in Europe, you cannot find a Cohiba red or a Cohiba Dominican from the Dominican Republic because of the name.
Not yet. No,
you're not allowed to sell cigars in Europe that bear a Cuban company name.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hold on. Say that one more time. What do you mean by
like
that?
you can smoke, let's say, a Cohiba, a Cuban Cohiba, and here in the United States we have the Cohiba Blue, which is not Cuban. The Cohiba Blue is not available in Europe because it's named the Cohiba.
Exactly.
Oh,
so the only Cohibas you can find in Europe are real Cuban Cohibas. The Cohiba Blue, the Cohiba Red, you cannot find them. They're not allowed to sell them in Europe.
It's even like the non-Cuban, the La Aroma de Cuba. When you buy it in Europe, it's called La Aroma de Aurora.
They change the names. They're not allowed to use the names.
Yeah, the name, Cuba.
Si, one of the biggest things that, and I've even talked with this, Ish and I have had a really good laugh about glass front Cuban boxes that people buy in Mexico because there's no such thing as a glass front Cuban box.
Yeah.
But do you have the bullshit cigar market for the fake Cubans in Europe and in Scotland, or is that really only like a Central Latin American
That's
thing?
Central Latin America. They don't do that. It wouldn't be worth their while. They wouldn't. No, it's never. You never get it here, thank God. You know what I mean?
Now, I would not tell you that you can find some Padron and Trofuentes on.
Maybe if you go to Albania.
Doing like that. Well, you go to Albania, yeah, probably. Or places like that, yeah, most probably.
I mean, you can find fake Cubans in Greece.
MiG there. Fake MiG. Fake destroyer in Albania.
But hold on, Lefty. You could find fake Cubans in Greece?
Yep, you could.
Because it's very hard to put tobacco in Greece. That's why.
Well, you can. It's very hard to find cigars in Greece now, period, especially since Habanos say 50% of it was sold to the Chinese.
Yeah.
And prices went sky high, and of course they cannot keep up with production. New World cigars are starting to take a large piece of the pie in Greece right now, but there is a need for a lot more cigars. So what do? They bring fake Cubans in Greece too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that like a copyright thing? Bruce is asking if that be, and by the way, I'm sticking to only Altadis for this question about copyright-ish. Is that a copyright? Because Altadis owns 1844 Monte Cristo. Why wouldn't they just make a Cuban variation of that?
No, it's copyright that, like Bruce was saying, is true. So you, for instance, the same thing that happens when you go to England and you imagine that you call it, I don't know, for instance, the Drunken Napoleon. You cannot use the word drunken, so it's Napoleon D. You cannot use, imagine that you call a cigar with, you cannot say nothing that is sweet. You cannot say nothing that, names of food, names of candy, you cannot use that in tobacco. Same thing in Spain. In Spain, Cuba is number one producer of cigars from the whole Europe, okay, because it was only Europeans who smoked Cubans. So they had the whole copyrights. The same that happened this year with the Cohiba is no Cohiba anymore in the United States. It's gone, done. You cannot use that word anymore. Same thing in Spain. So they have Romeo and Juliet, they have Bolivar, they have H. Hillman, they have Ramon Ayones, they have all of them. So only those ones that they register and they have the copyrights and the license to sell, they will be able to sell, because most of Europe, the government regulates the tobacco.
Yeah.
So
it was
go ahead.
the Aroma de Caribe, they call it here.
Yeah, it's
Not
La
the-
Aroma del
not
Caribe.
Aroma, yeah, not Aroma de Cuba. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm getting tired.
So,
Guys, I will have to go because
Yeah,
I have
no.
to get up for work.
No worries, man.
no, not a problem. Si, so we'll
It's
actually
3 a.m. here, you see.
so we'll go ahead and end the show here. But Lefty and Si, Ish has already been asked these questions, but I just would like to throw some lightning round questions to you guys before we end the show.
Yeah,
Si, what is your favorite size and cut and way to cut a cigar?
My favorite size would be anything from we'll say 50 to 54 would be my favorite. You know what I mean? My favorite cut would be the V cut. I like the V cut for some reason. And what was the other one?
No, that was it. What's your favorite size? And Lefty, the same question. What's your
I would
favorite
have to
size
agree
and
about
cut?
the 52 and 54. I tend to enjoy a straight cut because I think the V cut cuts the cigar too deep.
Yeah.
And I
But
like
also
the straight
meant to
cut
add
because
on
I only
that,
like to cut
depending
just
on
the
the
tip.
cigar. I use depending on the size of the cigar as well. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I
used to smoke a
I don't
lot of
like the punch
60s, 6 by 60
Yeah.
at the beginning, because I've been smoking cigars for 25 years, and I used to smoke a lot of Gordos. But as I'm progressing with my palate and my taste and the way I enjoy the cigars, I find that when you smoke a Toro or a smaller cigar, you get to taste the cigar and the tobacco a lot better. It bends better, it tastes better, you can taste the flavor much better.
And on the 60s, when I used to smoke the 60s, I used to use a crown. I used to do the crown cut, but I used to use a straight cut for years, and then I just went off it. But funny enough, tonight I took a little bit of the cap off for the straight cut, but I just like the V cut for some reason. But I wouldn't go anything on 50 or under. If I was smoking under a 50, I wouldn't use a V cut because of the size of the cigar.
So,
you know what I mean?
Si and Lefty, what are your favorite complimentary drinks, pairing of drinks to go with a cigar?
You see, I've always said that nobody can go around tomorrow and write a book about the pairing of drinks because everybody's taste is different. But I actually do like when I drink something else, coffee would be my favorite. Or if I do the review things with Des, I'd have water. You know what I mean? To be honest, if I had to drink something alcoholic, I do like a Guinness with a stronger cigar, and I do like certain whiskies, but I find to take away sometimes some things don't. They take away the flavors, but if I was going for enjoyment, I'd have a nice Scotch or a Guinness with a stronger cigar, because Guinness actually does pair well with a cigar.
Ish drinks milk with cigars. So, Si, what is your?
the grapes.
You forgot Lefties.
Yes, I'm so sorry, Lefty.
I have to agree with Si that taste is subjective, but for me, I'm going to tell you what my favorite drink and the time of the day is. For me, there is nothing better than waking up at 5 a.m. and putting a nice cup of coffee and smoking a cigar. So it's like a ritual in the house. I get up in the morning at 5 a.m., make my cup of coffee and my cigar before I have to get in the car and go to work, and I think that's the best. Again, you can drink an alcoholic beverage, you can drink bourbon, whiskey. Tonight I was drinking vodka, but Nothing like a cup of coffee.
Coffee, yeah. And I do, when I come on at 5 o'clock in the morning or issues on Instagram, and I have my cup of coffee and I have it in my princess cup.
There you go.
Well,
I'm okay if I have it in my princess cup.
I like to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start the day with a nice glass of scotch and a cigar. No, I'm just Harry the dog it every single morning. So, Si, if you only had one variation of cigar to smoke the rest of your life, New World or Cuban, and any New World or Cuban, I'm not looking for brands, I'm just looking for New World or Cuban, what would it be?
Any variation.
So you could only, your choices are, if you only had one type of cigar,
Cuban and non-Cubans.
Non-Cuban or Cuban, what would it be for the rest of your life?
But not just the same cigar. No, it's
No. Just non-Cuban or
mix.
Cuban.
All right. If it was a mix, I'd have non-Cuban because there's more variety.
That says a shit ton right there. Like that really, really says a shit ton. And that is a huge, in my opinion, that says a lot to where the cigars in the quote unquote New World or non-Cuban have come from and where they started to where they are now. I mean, they're just as good, if not better in some instances. In my opinion, I think they're better. Lefty, what about you?
I agree with Si. I mean, I've had my experience with Cubans. Like I said, in Greece, 90% of the market is Cuban cigars. But I think the quality of New World cigars is, again, I'm not going to say it's far superior, but in my humble opinion, it is far superior. And I would choose New World cigars in a second.
A lot of it's the quality control. So last question to end the show for the night, and this is for everybody. What's the most expensive cigar you smoked, and was it worth it? Ish, we'll start with you.
No, it was not worth it. Most expensive cigar that I had, it was the first Talisman from Cuba. But the first one used to be cheap. But the first one, if you're lucky, and you can have one gifted to you or one that you buy or whatever. So it was, I believe it was like $300 something.
We lost
and, yeah, which I paid for it. It was worth it? Absolutely not. To me, any cigar that is over $30 is not worth it whatsoever. Mostly because I know how much it costs and because I roll cigars. So it was not worth it now.
No, I agree. And before Lefty answers, Si, I don't know why we lost you. If it was internet connection, thank you so much. It was such an honor to have you on the show, and thank you so much for spending your night with us. I know it's super late, so thank you for coming on. Now, Lefty, what is the most expensive cigar you've smoked, and was it worth it?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you the brand and the cigar, but I can tell you it was
just a dollar value.
It was a $750 cigar.
Oh, I know the cigar then.
Okay, was it worth it? I will never ever spend $750 for a cigar. Just like Ish said, no. I mean, sitting there for an hour and a half and thinking that I blew $750 in the trash it doesn't do it for me. I don't think there is any cigar that's worth more than $30, $40. You can buy cigars for $20 and they're going to be amazing. Yeah. So to justify a $750 price tag, you got to give me a massage and take me for a trip to the Bahamas and pay for my hotel and my airfare. It doesn't carry for me. So, and the $750 cigar that I smoked, I did not buy it. I will never pay that much money for a cigar. It was gifted to me, but no, I would never buy that cigar again.
Now,
I smoked the same cigar and it was gifted to me, but that I paid, it was $300.
Yeah, and again, I think anybody that's a cigar geek knows what you're talking about when you say $750 cigar. No. But Ish, is there any reason why a cigar would cost that much, other than the fact that people would just pay for it, for the bragging rights?
Absolutely not. It is not. I don't care. It is no any reason to have one company charge more for a cigar than another. The only reason that it can be is because you buy better quality of tobacco. It's like going to the butcher, and it's not going to cost you the same thing, a pork that a ribeye or that a leg of chicken. It's different qualities, different products. You pay more, you pay less. But it's no reason whatsoever for any cigar is that expensive whatsoever. So, no.
Well, listen, the $750 cigar that I smoked, or there is another $300 cigar that I smoked, they're infused with some very, very expensive whiskeys and cognacs. So that could a little bit justify the price tag. But the same company that makes the $750 cigar makes $25 cigars that taste amazing. So why pay $750 when you can pay $25 and smoke something that tastes as good? That's how I see it.
The cigar that we're talking about, the $750, that is the liqueur that we all know what liqueur we're talking about. It's a big mistake, first of all. I will never pay that money for that cigar, even if, at least that it comes with the bottle, which I don't pay that for the bottle neither. But the only flavor that it will not stay in a cigar is alcohol, except for one, that is Sambuca or anise. It's the only two liqueurs that are going to stay in the cigar. Everything else evaporates. So I don't care if you put a $25,000 whiskey in it, or cognac, or whatever. It will evaporate and it will not give you any flavor. So, unless you put rubies on it and it comes with a Rolex, it's not worth it.
Well, thank you so much for everyone coming on, and I really, really appreciated the show. Lefty, thank you so much for helping the show be possible tonight and helping me plan it with the guys, with our friends from on the other side of the pond. And Ish, I love it. I text Ish 10 minutes before he came on. Hey, Dez is leaving. Are you up for saying hi to Side Lefty? And he goes, send me the link. I'm there. I'll say hi. And now he's been on for 45 minutes. So
did you really think that he would say no?
Well, the one thing the crazy thing is, so the one thing I've realized about Ish is if Ish likes you, he will make time in every way, shape, and form. And we've got Cy back on. Cy, thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, guys.
No worries. The one thing I know about Ish is if Ish likes you, he will do what he can to give you his shirt off his back to help you.
Ish, you better like Ryan, I'm telling you.
I came over and he was standing at full salute when he saw me at his house in March. But no, in all honesty, thank you everybody for coming on. This was such a great, very different variation of this show, just us shooting the shit. And thank you very much to Dez and Cy. I know it's like 3 a.m. where you are, so I really appreciate. But I've been wanting to find out, Cy, what is on your knuckles?
Skin.
No, I know that. Yes, but with the tattoos. Tattoos.
See, Sweeney.
Okay. Yep, I see that.
And then see those two.
But what's right here?
Two axes.
The numbers, man.
They're called Spart axes, right?
No, he's talking about in the knuckles.
The knuckles.
Oh, yeah. They're Roman numerals.
The Roman numbers.
Yeah.
Is that how many competitions you've won?
It's 1968. It's the year I was born. But I tell you, the interesting thing about the Sweeney, the Spart axe, and that is, we were Sweeney the battle axes. We were Galloglass, which meant foreign warriors. Ireland didn't have any armies, so in the 1100s we came over because it was run by chieftains. We came over to fight for the chieftains. We were mercenaries, and we were the only mercenary clan that never faded into obscurity. We were half Scots, half Norse, and we were damn good. So we, on our crest is the battle axe on top, the Spart axe, and salamander, which means you could walk through fire, which means you're not afraid of nothing, and the three boars, which was ferocity in battle. So that's the crest. It's nearly done. I have the other few little things to add on to it, and then the other is the year I was born, 1968, and the name there is, of course, Sweeney.
Yeah, so I have a family brand, literally brand, that's been around since the 1800s. It's a circle J for Joshua and then 6 for Miller. There's 6 letters in the Miller. So circle J6, and it's still a registered brand in Florida. I want to get that tattooed. I am so afraid of needles. So my dad said that he would just heat up the brand and just brand you. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm more afraid of, needles or that hot iron.
Here,
So
I'll tell you, that is cool. But listen, just get a tattoo with a brand kind of.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not getting a brand by any means. It's just over there like, I'll give you a brand.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick one. I'll just tell you a quick one, seeing that it is 3:08, and Lisa will probably kill me if she wakes up. But I used to be crazy into MotoGP at one time, and I did have a beautiful motorbike, but I crashed it into kind of a canal, so that was the end of that. But I got a tattoo designed of the Repsol design, because I was into a Honda Repsol team, so I have it on my shoulder. And every time I go into Spain, people sit next to me, Senor, hey, you like gas? And I go, what? Gas? You like gas? And I go, no, I don't fucking like gas. And they go, no, on your shoulder, Repsol. And I'm going, what are you fucking talking about? MotoGP, guys, MotoGP. And then I notice when I go down the motorways in Spain, every flipping petrol station, a gas station says Repsol.
Repsol, yeah.
Oh, geez. Well, we'll end the show here with one last question for Ish from Bruce. When are the MREs coming back in stock, Ish?
He's going to ask Carrie about it. Hold on.
They are in the stock.
Oh, there you go. Ish, do you have the RMCS version?
Yes.
Can you show the bundle real quick? So, for everybody that would like to order my bacon grease variation of this cigar, which is now the normal version of this cigar, you can get one in there, and it will have RMCS at the bottom. I cannot tell you how much that means to me as a cigar geek. And the same way that Si probably felt when somebody made a cigar about him, based on him, the fact that RMCS is on a brand of a cigar just makes me unbelievably tickled. And I can't stand up right now, or else you all would see how happy I am. So thank you all so very much for spending. Yes, Bruce, you can order it online from ROCFcigars.com or BAMFcigars.com. Use my promo code RMCS15 for 15% off the entire website, and you will go broke on ROCF.com and BAMF.com for all of his stuff. So everybody, thank you so much for joining in this show. This was just such a great gathering of cigar geeks and lovers of the leaf. Thank you, Lefty. Thank you, Dez. Thank you, Ish. And thank you, Si, for spending your night with me. And to everybody watching, thank you so much for spending another week. And I cannot believe this is actually a job that I have, because I just love it so much. And it's just a fucking amazing. I love this so very much. And I get to meet great people. It's Lefty and Si and Ish and Dez. So thank you to everybody that spent their Thursday night with us. Until we see you again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much,
Good night, everyone.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.